Cerebrum, right? Mm-hmm. Then we have the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum is this right here, the whole thing. See it outlined? Corpus callosum.
With the brain.
Then we have lateral ventricle, which is this space right here.
I do need to dig in the bucket though and get everybody an eye.
Then we have the septum pellucidum. Septum pellucidum is the skin that would go over the lateral ventricle. Now, what that does is it separates the left and the right hemisphere of the lateral ventricle. You know what I mean? So that
So we wouldn't have to identify that because we can't see it?
No, you do. It's right here. It's just you're not going to see the whole thing.
Oh.
But you're going to see the
It's
skin
like fleshy?
on the side. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just like a thin layer of skin that covers.
What was that
over.
called again? Something?
Septum pellucidum.
Septum pellucidum?
Yeah. Then right after that, right under this, third ventricle. That space right there.
Wait, the top one was a lateral ventricle, right?
Lateral ventricle.
And the third.
ventricle.
Okay.
Right. Then thalamus is this round piece right here.
Okay.
Then we have the pineal body, pineal gland,
Okay,
which
yeah.
is right there. Then we have the corpora quadrumina, which is the superior and inferior caliculi, which is right here.
Gotcha.
And then we have the fourth ventricle. Fourth ventricle is right underneath the cerebellum, the space right underneath. So that's all this.
Not this, right? Not continuing.
Not this.
Okay, just
This.
under. Okay.
This is called the cerebral aqueduct. That,
The whole thing?
yeah, this whole space right
Including
here.
the fourth ventricle?
No, up to the fourth ventricle.
Okay.
Cerebral aqueduct, right? Then we have the cerebellum. In the cerebellum, we have the arbor vitae, which is all the branches of the tree. Then the midbrain, which is all this, right? And then we have the pons, which is right before it extends out, the pons right here. Then when it extends out, medulla oblongata.
Okay.
And that's all this until it gets thinner, and then that becomes the spinal cord.
Okay.
Choroid plexus is what makes it's
Cerebral.
yeah, it's like it's a network of capillaries that are in the lateral ventricle, and they make the cerebral spinal fluid.
And you can't see them?
You can,
Kinda?
you see it? Black?
Oh, okay.
It's black.
Choroid
You
plexus.
see it? Choroid plexus, the black thing. And that's it. So then the path, you got to know the pathway of the cerebrospinal fluid. So it starts at the choroid plexus where it's made in the lateral
The
ventricle.
black thing.
So lateral ventricle is the first.
Okay.
Then in the lateral ventricle, there's an interventricular foramina, which is a hole. Foramina means hole, which leads into the third ventricle. So then
Third
it goes,
ventricle's under. Okay, perfect.
so it goes right into the third ventricle. Then it follows this cerebral aqueduct, right?
And then fourth
Then
ventricle?
into the fourth ventricle,
Nice.
where it comes out. It goes into the spinal cord, and it'll either come out to the side so that it stays in the brain, or it'll go down into the spinal cord because cerebrospinal fluid is in the brain and in the spinal cord.
Okay.
So, in the spinal cord, it'll fill in the subarachnoid space as well as the dural sinuses. That's it. But you don't see that. You don't see the last two. You just have to know that.
Okay. How's she gonna test us on that last?
Well, this is written. This part is